Cute as a cupcake. Where the cupcakes are more than just cute, they're delicious. Get by Cute as a Cupcake at 2008 West 81st in Maryville, Indiana, or go to www.cuteasacupcake3.com to have cupcakes delivered to your door. Doesn't matter if you're on the East Coast, West Coast, North, or South. Go to www.cuteasacupcake3.com and order your cupcakes today. If you're in that Maryville area, 2008 West 81st, again, Maryville, Indiana. Good afternoon, and welcome to the 800 Credit Score Man Show. I am your host, Kevin King. He is I, and I am him, the 800 Credit Score Man himself. And once again, thank each and every one of you for coming in and listening to the 800 Credit Score Man Show. I truly, truly appreciate it. I told you guys I'd be here today after Christmas. I told you I would be here today after Christmas, you guys. So here I am, and we're going to talk a little bit about credit. We're going to keep preparing for your credit increase. It's definitely coming in 2021. We're going to prepare you guys for that. Now, what have we been doing? We have been talking about the 5 pillars of credit. Again, I have an ebook about 5 pillars of credit. That's the name of it. 5 pillars of credit. It's available on Amazon. It's available other places as well. You can also go to Barnes & Noble if you prefer. But yes, 5 pillars of credit. Go to Amazon for $2.99. Get 5 pillars of credit and get to read through the things that we're talking about, and maybe in a little bit more in-depth nature as well. And then you'll be able to see what makes up my credit score. How in the world can I get that great credit score? So when people call me or email me or text me and say, how do I get an 800 credit score? It is a loaded question because there's a lot of things that go into it, and a lot of it depends on where you sit right now with your credit and where you can go with your credit. Sometimes you just need to know the information so you can figure out, how do I get there? So you need that plan, you need that blueprint to get to where you're trying to go, and 5 pillars of credit will help you with that. So you guys go there. You forgot somebody for the holidays, you forgot to send them a gift or whatever, get on Amazon. All you need is an email address, and you can gift that book to them as well. So 5 Pillars of Credit by Kevin King, the 800 Credit Score Man, on Amazon, $2.99 ebook for them. All right, so today we're going to continue with this series. We've been talking about the 5 Pillars of Credit. We're going to continue with that series today. Now, of course, let me tell you guys, I told you I'd be back right after Christmas. I got to say Merry Christmas to everybody. Happy holidays, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Festivus, whatever it is that you're celebrating around this time. And I know it's been different this year. It may have been a little bit more difficult than previous years because of what's going on, but count the blessings that you do have. I'm going to tell you guys that. So I wanted to say happy holidays, Merry Christmas to everybody, because I told you I'd be here. And then, of course, we got some shout outs. So I got a shout out. Usually, of course, I do like the youngest among us, right? When there's some little kids, I usually do the youngest among us. But I want to shout out Doc Stalling. Doc Stalling celebrated his birthday, 90 years old. Yes, Doc Stalling, 90 years old, a pillar of the Gary, Indiana community. And I want to say thank you for always being an excellent person to look up to. Absolutely. And happy birthday to you, Doc Stalling. I got to give a shout out to my nephew, Dante Denson Sr., celebrated his birthday on Christmas. Yep, he is a Christmas baby. Got to give a shout out to Monique Vaughn for celebrating her birthday, as well as Patrice Barnett as well. All happy birthday to you guys. Then, of course, well, not of course necessarily, but then also I got to give a shout out to Tino Bradley, celebrates his birthday. His son, Brandon Bradley, celebrates his birthday, not on the same day, but they are really close. Probably was a great Christmas present and birthday present for Tino back in the day when Brandon was born. So happy birthday to you, Brandon Bradley. And then you guys all know this person. Yes, Kobe of Kobe Cameron and Carter celebrates his birthday. Yes, a Christmas baby born on Christmas Day. Kobe, happy birthday to you. I am so proud of the man that you have become, and I look so much for forward in the future of the man that you will continue to strive to be. Thank you for being a great son. Thank you for being a great example for your little brothers. And I couldn't be proud of you, and I love you. So happy birthday to you, Kobe. All right, so let's jump into this. So how much of your credit score have we calculated thus far? So thus far, we did 2 shows on them, right? We did 10% was inquiries, right? We talked about those, how much they impact your credit score. And then we also talked about your credit mix on last week's show. So that's 10% as well of your credit score. So we've only dove into 20% of your credit score. Now that may seem very, very minor, especially individually. It's only 10% for this one and 10% for that one. But if you're striving, like I said, people are contacting me saying, how do I get an 800 credit score? If you're striving to get an 800 credit score, a 700, a 750 credit score, then you need to be able to master each and every one of these pillars. And even though this particular pillar is 10% and that particular pillar is 10%, you need to be able to master and manipulate those pillars in your best interest to get to that particular credit score. And it may be even more important, those small percentages for these particular pillars may be even more important for individuals with a lower credit score as we speak. So if you have a 500 credit score that starts with 5, a credit score that starts with a 6, or even a score that starts with a 7, you need to be able to know how this game works and where each and every one of these things fall for you. So today we're going to tackle payment history. That's what we're going to tackle. I was thinking initially we might be able to tackle 2, but I don't think so. So we're going to tackle the payment history today. So we're going to tackle this today. And so the payment history is the largest pillar of the 5 pillars of credit. It has the greatest weighting, and of course, rightfully so, it has the greatest weighting, because what are they doing when they look at your credit? They're trying to evaluate, judge you, see your credit worthiness on how responsible you are with paying people back that you owe money to. So yes, it has the highest weighting of all of the pillars of credit. 35%. Yes, 35% of your score is determined by how well you make payments on time on accounts that appear on your credit report. So some of you already knew that it was 35% of your credit score. Too often, too many people think that if you just make your payments on time, you're going to have a great credit score. A lot more goes into it, right? As we're finding out as we go through this series of the 5 pillars of credit. So again, these are the accounts that appear on your credit report. So that's the ones that they're looking at. So typically, it's not going to be your utility bill. That doesn't show up on your credit report. There are some places across the country where a utility bill may show up on your credit report, but most of the country is not like that. So typically, not the things like your utility bill, your cable bill, your cell phone bill, if you've got Ring doorbell, those kinds of things don't show up on your credit report. Your kids' tuition, that doesn't show up on your credit report. Your auto insurance, your home insurance, your renter's insurance, those things do not show up on your credit report. I'm not saying don't make those payments on time, because you build habits. So you're building habits. If you make your utility bill on time, you make your cable bill on time, your cell phone bill on time, you will be building good habits of paying on time. However, these are not the things that impact your credit score. Now, what are the things that, a couple other things that do not show up on your credit report either. Your debit card. So some people think, when you say, hey, I'm using a credit card and a debit card are 2 totally different things. I know a bunch of you guys are listening. You're saying, what? Who in the world thinks that? There are some individuals that do think that, by using their debit card to kind of help them build their credit. And unfortunately, there are also a couple of companies out there that are kind of spouting the same thing as well. And maybe they're trying to do some justice to people and help them out when it comes to their credit. But using your debit card does not help you any of the least when it comes to that. That's not on your credit report. And then also, have you ever borrowed from your 401k? You ever borrowed from your 401k before and you're paying it back? That is not on your credit report. So those things are not on your credit report. However, there are some things that are absolutely on there, And this particular pillar, the payment history, is calculating how you use these accounts. These accounts are things such as, of course, your student loans. You have an auto loan. You got your credit cards. You have a mortgage. You got personal loans. All those kinds of things absolutely show up on your credit report. If you ever pull your credit report, you'll be able to see exactly the things that are showing up on your credit report. Even some of the credit reports are broken down by category. So they'll tell you, here are your credit cards and here are your loans. There's a section for other, for whatever that is for you particularly. Maybe be a section for your mortgages, because maybe you have two or three mortgages. You know, you got two or three homes, or you've got a mortgage and a second mortgage, or mortgage and a home equity line of credit. So there are categories on your credit report as well. So those are the things that show up on your credit report, and those are the things that the credit bureaus, TransUnion, Equifax, Experian are all following and tracking to make sure that you're making these payments on time, or just to actually record. They're not making sure you're making them. They're actually recording whatever you do when it comes to these accounts, whether they're on time or whether they're late. And it's kind of like pass fail. If you ever been in a school and you had a class that was pass fail, it's kind of like pass fail. So they don't care if you pay it 20 days before the due date, or if you pay it 1 day before the due date, or if you pay it on the due date. What they do care about is if you pay it after the due date. But they actually don't care if you pay it 10 days after the due date or 15 days, 2 days after the due date. When they care about it is when it's 30 days after the due date. That's when they care. So that's that pass fail I'm talking about. You're either going to make it before it's going to hit your credit report as a negative, or you're not. You're either going to pass fail on that one. So also, let me mention this too. Rent. Rent is not on your credit report only if you've added it to your credit report yourself. So if you've decided, or if you've been a renter for a long time, you might as well add it to your credit report, especially if you're always paying your rent on time. You should go ahead and add it to your credit report. There are several companies out there that will do this for you. Most of them are going to cost you a little change. It's not necessarily a whole bunch. That's going to cost you $1,000 for the year to add it to your credit report, but it will most likely cost you a little bit of money. You'll probably most likely have to get your landlord's permission to do so, to add it to your credit report, but it's well worth it if you're a renter and you're a chronic renter. You've been renting for a long time, you don't plan on going anywhere, then you might want to add it to your credit report, especially if you're always on time. In addition to that, if you're looking to buy a home, you're saying, hey, I'm going to buy a home. I'm going to do it in the next, I'm going to do it in 2021. I plan on being in my home by Thanksgiving next year. I want to be able to host Thanksgiving because COVID is going to be gone, and I'm going to have a new place, and I want to host Thanksgiving. So I'm going to have me a home by November. Add your rent to your credit report. It's only going to help it if you're paying it on time. So it's going to help your credit score when it comes to that. So you can add that. If you got questions, you need a suggestion on a place to go to help you do that, then contact me. Send me an email, 800@creditscoreman.com. 800@creditscoreman.com. Send me an email. I'll shoot you a couple companies that I think you should look into to help you get this added to your credit report. And if you have any other questions as well. So send it to me, but you should absolutely be adding this to your credit report. Now, if you're not paying on time and you've got issues with your landlord, the apartment complex, or whatever it is, then you may want to stay away from this. Because what you don't want to do is add something to your credit report that's going to hurt your score. And some of these places, actually most of the places, they do an excellent job of recording it just right. And some of these places actually will go backwards for you. So it won't just start, January 2021 for you. They may even be able to go back to January of 2019 for you and add that to your credit report. That's helpful. That's very, very helpful for you. Next week's show, you're going to see how that's going to be helpful for you as well, because we're going to talk about that next week on the show. So that's what I'm telling you guys today. That's what you need to do when it comes to that. So those are the things that are on your credit report or not on your credit report. So if you don't pay that rent on time, then don't bother with that. Same thing goes for Experian Boost. So I talk about Experian Boost often. It only works for Experian, that particular credit bureau, but you can get a boost in your credit score by signing up with them.